Sydney's southwest corridor, Leppington, Austral, Edmondson Park, Gregory Hills, is being called the last affordable entry point for first home buyers. But when a house in the so-called affordable zone now pushes past $800,000 and keeps climbing, that claim deserves more than a headline. It deserves a test. So we ran the numbers on price, commute, and what you're really signing up for. For buyers priced out of established inner ring suburbs, this outer western fringe represents the final frontier of the great Australian dream. Buying here means bypassing the brutal reality of million-dollar fixer-uppers closer to the city. Instead, purchasers look at Leppington, Austral, Edmondson Park, and Gregory Hills as a single-linked corridor offering a foot in the door. But this lower price point demands an immediate compromise. It is a choice between a ready-to-move-in house and a fully functioning neighborhood. Buyers are trading the established parks, finished roads, and local shops of older areas for a blank slate. To find out if this trade-off makes financial sense, we have to look past the developer billboards and examine the raw property data shaping this active market. PropTrack data tracking home sales from January 2024 to July 2026 reveals a steady upward shift across this entire southwest corridor. In January 2024, Leppington stood at a median house price of roughly $820,000. By July 2026, that figure rose to about $928,000, making it the highest-priced suburb within this four-area group. Austral offers a slightly lower entry point, starting at about $780,000 in early 2024 and moving to roughly $842,000 by mid-2026, consistently holding its position on the lower end of the pricing scale. Edmondson Park remains the most accessible option in this tier. Its median climbed from around $750,000 to about $818,000 over the same period. Gregory Hills, by comparison, experienced much stronger upward momentum, rising from roughly $790,000 to about $905,000. These median figures, however, represent the baseline. Buyers looking at brand new home and land packages will face an additional premium. This new build markup is especially visible in Gregory Hills and Edmondson Park, where modern master-planned packages carry the strongest price uplift over established properties. While this corridor remains far more accessible than Sydney's inner ring markets, these prices show that relative affordability does not mean cheap in absolute terms. Securing a basic foothold here now regularly demands a budget approaching $1 million. Buyers must look past the initial entry-level appeal and weigh these rising costs against their true borrowing capacity. The New South Wales Department of Planning structures the long-term development of this southwest corridor through a system of coordinated infrastructure stages. Within this framework, physical growth depends entirely on essential water networks, road widening projects, and the wider rail grid rather than housing demand alone. This blueprint divides the four suburbs into highly distinct phases. Leppington sits in the most advanced release phase, featuring infrastructure-enabled growth and a major town center build-out already taking shape. Conversely, Austral remains heavily developer-led and early stage, with its initial release momentum still unfolding. Edmondson Park operates on a highly infrastructure-dependent timeline, where the pace of residential development is tied directly to transport links and school delivery schedules. Gregory Hills relies on staged residential expansion, with its progress linked to the gradual rollout of surrounding local service networks. Because the state government anchors new releases to major triggers, such as the Upper South Creek Advanced Water Recycling Center and the future Western Sydney Airport rail link, each neighborhood evolves at a completely different speed. For buyers, choosing where to purchase is a calculation of which development phase they are willing to live through. The daily trek to the Sydney CBD serves as a practical cost of living test for the Southwest Corridor, where physical distance translates directly into hours lost and dollars spent. The Sydney Metro Southwest and the broader rail network form the backbone of this commute, but the ease of accessing them varies wildly depending on the suburb. Leppington acts as the primary rail anchor. From Leppington Station, a direct train to Central takes about 39 minutes, making it the most reliable starting point for peak commuters at 8:30 a.m. Commuters can drive to the platform, but peak hour parking spaces fill quickly, forcing reliance on expanding park and ride facilities. Edmondson Park connects directly to this rail spine. Commuters can take a brief 12-minute bus ride via the S149 to Leppington, keeping the total door-to-door trip to the CBD around 50 minutes. Proximity to the station minimizes last-mile friction. Gregory Hills carries a much heavier transit penalty. Lacking a direct rail station, residents rely on the 840 bus to Leppington, pushing the total public transport commute to Central to 1 hour and 18 minutes at peak times. Driving to the CBD takes about an hour in moderate off-peak traffic at 10:30 a.m., but peak congestion regularly inflates this. And the absence of dedicated bicycle paths limits alternative travel options. Austral is the most exposed to car dependence. While driving to the CBD takes around 45 to 60 minutes, those relying on public transport face a 65-minute bus ride just to connect to the rail network, making distance friction a daily reality. When translated into weekly hours, a commuter from Gregory Hills spending nearly 3 hours a day traveling loses 15 hours a week to transit. Personalized as a budget line item, this time loss represents hundreds of dollars in lost productivity or personal time. While transit schedules should always be verified against live timetables, these physical realities define the true cost of buying in the outer ring. School catchments in these growing corridors are moving targets. As new estates fill, the Department of Education frequently redraws boundaries, meaning a property zoned for a preferred local school at purchase might be rezoned before a child enrolls. While the Edmondson Park High and Gregory Hills High are scheduled to open in 2027, early buyers must manage years of temporary school choices. Daily amenities also lag behind home handovers. In Austral, residents have managed without a major local supermarket, waiting on a Woolworths delayed to 2026. This means the lower entry price of a new estate is balanced against the reality of living with dust, construction noise, and empty commercial zones during the years it takes for a raw subdivision to feel like a completed suburb. For buyers on the ground, managing this transition is a lesson in patience and precise budgeting. Daniel, a recent Leppington purchaser, shares his personal experience of balancing a strict weekly budget with a 6 a.m. weekday routine to manage his mortgage. His experience reflects the reality of early-stage estate living, where daily travel and saving strategies must balance. To contextualize what buyers face, an agent from Urban Land Housing explains that the first 2 to 5 years in these newly released precincts require realistic expectations. According to local sales data, while buyers secure modern, energy-efficient homes, they must expect ongoing construction and gradual infrastructure rollout as the neighborhood matures. State planning figures confirm that local road widening and retail completions are staged over years, not months. This means the early years are a direct trade-off between immediate property ownership and the gradual arrival of neighborhood convenience. Deciding to buy in this corridor requires looking beyond the mortgage itself. The real cost of entry combines monthly repayments with fuel, tolls, and the literal value of hours lost to transit. Oversupply also becomes a distinct risk if rapid housing releases outpace the delivery of local services. This region suits buyers who prioritize earlier homeownership over central convenience, and who can absorb car dependence and years of patience. Before acting, check land release maps, verify school catchment shifts, test actual peak commute times, calculate your total monthly outgoings, and speak with a mortgage broker. Buying in the Southwest is a conscious trade-off of immediate convenience for long-term equity. As infrastructure catches up, your patience becomes the real investment. It is not a perfect compromise, but it is a realistic start. What trade-offs would you make? Share your thoughts below.